Mr. President.
Senator from Mississippi.
Mr. President, we're in an unfortunate period of hyperpartisanship. It doesn't look good from this angle, and I know it doesn't look good to the general public. But I have some good bipartisan news that might make us feel better about our national security. As chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, I come to the floor this morning and say that we are finally in a position to take up on the floor, vote on, and pass the National Defense Authorization Act. This is a very important act that we manage in times of majority and minority in Democratic, Republican administrations to pass each year for over 6 decades. My partner and colleague, former chairman of the committee, Jack Reed, and now ranking Democrat member, has worked with me, along with our Armed Services Committee members and our capable staffs, and we have built a strong bipartisan National Defense Authorization Act. It started this summer when earlier than usual, the committee approved our bill by an overwhelming majority of 26-1. Let me say that again. In this time when we can't seem to muster a 60-vote majority to keep us in business as a federal government, we were able to pass the National Defense Authorization Act by a vote of 26-1. It is member-driven. It's full of national security priorities from senators across this body on both sides of the aisle. It is designed to make important changes, to make our country stronger, to make our defenses better and more able to defend ourselves, and therefore to prevent armed conflict. Senator Reid and I have worked with majority and minority members then to build a bipartisan package of 49 amendments to be offered on the floor. And we are within moments of a decision point. We can decide to bring this matter to the floor and get unanimous consent to lock in consideration, or we can begin voting, which will take us into the afternoon. And I have to say that based on experience, if we don't get this locked in at this moment, Mr. President, then we will miss an opportunity to consider these amendments on the floor, because we simply are going to run out of time if we don't proceed before the weekend break. The package includes in the substitute amendment, which we filed back before the August break. Now, since that time, we've worked closely to take the next step. We have 47 amendments for a second manager's package. And this has been agreed upon by the ranking member and by me and by our membership, split evenly between Republicans and Democrats. It contains numerous bipartisan items. We might not take all 17 votes, but we've teed up 17 votes. Again, split evenly, or split as evenly as possible between Republican bills and Democrat bills. I say to you, Mr. President, and I say to the leadership of the Democratic minority in this Senate, we are ready to vote on the NDAA. We're ready to show on both sides of the aisle that the Senate can act in the interest of national security and get something done on a bipartisan basis. And for heaven's sake, we need to do that at this moment, even more importantly than at other times. We have a great product before us. It makes huge changes, significant changes, and we need to send the signal that we can do this. Get it then coordinated with the House version, which has already been passed, and move it to the President of the United States for his early signature. I genuinely thank my partner, Senator Jack Reed, for his tireless work with me to get to this point. I was looking forward to locking in a unanimous consent request at this moment, Mr. President, but I've been told to hold off. It could be coming in just a few minutes. But we have to get that unanimous consent to avoid vote after vote after vote on cloture on these various proposals and amendments. We've got to lock that in. We must do it this morning, in the next hour, perhaps between now and the first vote, which I believe begins in about 30 minutes. We simply cannot delay this process any longer. Let me make it clear. If we do not bring this to the floor today, this matter will not have time for deliberation on the Senate floor, and we'll have to basically pretend that we're having a conference between House and Senate members, and a very small group of senators will have to write this bill and bring it to the floor for final passage. That's not the way this ought to be done, and it can be avoided with a unanimous consent request in just a very few minutes. But the good news is we're ready to proceed. The good news is the committee is united, 26-1, and my ranking member and I are ready to proceed. We simply need a Democrat leader to come down here and agree to unanimous consent. And I yield the floor.